Oh, right. This is L. Jermaine Russell. I'm here going over some of the stocks that I've made in these past couple of days. I'm realizing that I didn't get a chance to record last week nor the week prior to. And I just wanted to I've been kind of busy these past couple of weeks. And now even though I have reviewed over my trades, I haven't had a chance to record. So now I just kind of want to go over some of the ones that I made during this month. This month I'm actually up. For the past 3 months, I am finally over and I'm positive by 0.5%, which is good in the past 3 months, given where I was before. And now that I'm starting to find a little bit more confidence in my trading, I am starting to identify, what I was doing wrong and, how to not do that again. And I can only hope that I continue focusing on only the good plays and not using, any of the bad ones or not just chasing stocks altogether. So, I know I have right now. I have the chart of the S&P. The S&P and the Dow. They're both running around the 100-day moving average, and I'm not one to to say when a person should or should not trade, but I am one to look at the overall market, and the market is showing that it is trading near the 100-day moving average. So if it's trading near the 100-day moving average, it's something that we all should be cautious of, just because of the fact that 3 out of 4 stocks move along the stock market, and as we see, it is trying to, it's holding. It's right around, where the average is right around their resistance areas right now. But who's to say that it's going to break over it and close above, or it could potentially fall down. It was red on Friday, but we've been going back and forth between red and green days for the past week, and like I said, I have been trading just a little bit better. Just trying to take my trades in stride. Um, my sorry, you have to excuse me. My laptop is running a little slow, but I have been taking my positions in a little bit more stride, very more cautious, and really only waiting for my price to hit before I even buy or sell. So I've been really feeling better about the way that I've been attacking my trades. So there's been a couple of trades. I'm not going to go over all of them, but as I can, look in my journal, I went. I've been holding stocks overnight and limiting my trading into intraday. I'm realizing that if I trade intraday, normally it doesn't work out for me. So I look for overnight trades and buying from the night before and selling into the next day, particularly if it reaches the level that I want, or if it looks like that it still has more potential, I can hold it for another day. So I did that from since the beginning of this month, and it's been working for me and all of my accounts. So I am really, really liking my direction. I started with SSC. SSC, I got in there actually twice. Bought in at 275, sold at 308 because I wasn't sure if it was going to continue to go. And then I bought again at 303 and then sold at 329. So, I just kind of just wanted to trust I can pull up the chart. So I just need to trust, trust my trading. So that was somewhere around here these days that I was trading it, and I am definitely putting in my resistance and support lines to make sure that I follow where my trading should and should not go. GOPH, which is one that's on my watch list for this upcoming week. That was one that I traded exactly in April 3rd as well. It was an overnight play. Got in at 342 and sold at 421 before this drop here. So I was really happy. And even though it went up 2 more days, it definitely came down 3 more days. So it's right back around this support area of 277 where I no, that's not where I originally bought, but that's where I was seeing it and was hesitant on buying. Um, so I bought EBIO, and I think when I bought this one, it was I bought this at $1.39. That's where it is now, ironically, and I sold it at 132 just because it wasn't doing what I wanted. Um, when I did buy it, it was an overnight play, like I said, I've been doing. But I think this is where I was trying to get greedy, and I allowed it to, come up to the 160s. I didn't sell it in the morning, and then it came right back down. Um no, I think it's no. I got out before that. I didn't get a chance to even get there beforehand. So I just end up selling it. Uh, do- do- but I did get into it. No, yeah, I did get back into it after I sold it. I got back into it that same day, and I bought in at 137 and sold at 152. So that was right around here. So April 4th, it was April 4th and the 5th. I sold, and I guess I sold on this day, which is the 5th. I sold on the 5th. I sold on the 5th. As I'm looking at my notebook to see where I sold and where I didn't sell, rebought because I saw the bounce at 133. I wasn't sure if I would continue to uptrend. If it would continue the uptrend, resistance on the day was 138. So even though I bought at 137, it was only 15 cents a share, but at least I was able to see that there was, where the resistance was and where the support was, and I was able to get in significantly. And I was just came back to where it was. So, actually, let me move this because it might have some more downside. So I'm going to say that it might come down to 130. It might come back down to this support, to that support area. So let's replace that. All right. So just so I'll know if there's a rebalance or not. NETE, which is probably my worst loss of the month, unnecessary loss because I just allowed it. I just allowed myself not to. That's not what I want to do. I just allowed myself to let this trade go. And I remember I went to yoga and everything, and I was just kind of mad, which I should have just left it alone. But sometimes I allow those things to get over on me. So I bought it on the 4th, which no, I bought it on the 5th. I apologize. I bought it on the 5th at 950, and I end up selling it at 750, which is, as we see, it came down and then look, it bounced right back up. So it's right where it was before, and this happened on this past weekend. I mean, Thursday and Friday. So this is Friday, this is Thursday, this is Wednesday. It definitely found support there, and I kind of just threw it over to the side because I said, oh, this is not gonna, I thought it was going to continue going back down towards the sixes, and it didn't. It definitely held. It held this area right here at 670. Well, no, this 670 where it was before, it gapped up and it held that gap up at the sevens. So it went from 7 to 950, which is, essentially a $2.50 uptrend. So it definitely went well, and it's above the 100-day moving average. So this is something that, hey, I could watch for the week, but for some odd reason I don't like its price action. I don't like its movement. I even said it. Bought this higher than necessary above the resistance line, reaching a high of day at 975. Low float into Friday with a high volume of 4 million plus after hours trading. at 844, much lower than I anticipated. And the support here, and the support is here at 844. This was one trade that I shouldn't have held, and then I sold it on the 6th, which was the very next day. Wow. Let's get this chart back up here. I sold it on the 6th, which was the very next day. So this is, these 2 days. So it was on this day, and I sold it on this day. The 6th, where, it did spike up to 950, but I was being greedy, thinking it was going to cross over 10, and it didn't. So I should have sold to break even, and I didn't, and it just kept on going down. So I end up buying it at 950, selling it at 755, which is definitely a $2 loss a share, and that's not something that I should ever do. And I know better than that. I knew better than that, and that was my loss, my biggest loss, and my biggest loss of the month. And I have not traded like that ever since. Ever since then, never traded like that. That was the worst feeling to have, because I know I chased the stock. On April 10th, I traded MYSZ. I got in, I said April 10th. April 10th was here. So I ended up, I sold for a small loss. Got in at $1.39 and sold at $1.34. 5 cents a share loss. I was fine. Wanted to buy this before the market closed the day prior to, but didn't, because I was tired after eating some fried food. And I realized, our mentality, the mentality of a trader, is definitely, you have to maintain that frame of mind where it's always stronger than your temptation. So I was tempted to eat some fried food, and it got me, to lose out on this trade, because I definitely could have profited from here, but because I did not, do what I was supposed to do, it actually spiked to $1.69, on the day. So I could have got in from here and then, sold in the 160s, if not the 150s. But I could have got in. I remember this was at 120, and I said, hey, I should probably buy it, and I chose not to. So, it didn't close over the 100-day moving average, which is another technical sign that I look for when I want to purchase or hold a stock a little bit longer term. So I'll show you some other stocks that are like that, and coming up. But that was a loss, but it was a small loss. My next buy was FATE. They really didn't come out any news. They just came out with this a technical chart. It was holding. I remember it holding before because it was a recent earnings winner. So back here, on earnings, it started to uptrend, and it had this the strong uptrend from the 7s to the 14s, which is pretty damn amazing. So I'm anticipating that it will do the same thing over here, that it would not just go from the 9s to 11, but it will go from 11 to 14 at some point or another. Right now, if we zoom in, it is holding this 1150 area. So if it continues to hold this 1150 area without any pending news going into tomorrow, then it could do some damage. It could really do some good uptrending and really have something good going for itself. I know I have a mark here at 1115. That's because I am anticipating it coming down just like 40 more cents. But if it does not, actually let me move that to 1145. Let's see what it does. Let's see if it does get to 1145. And so if it gets to 1145, 1146, somewhere around there, then at least I'll know like what direction it is going if it's doing anything, just to keep me abreast on the stock. I like being notified on its action and price movement itself. Um, so next, CNIT. This one was a loss. It was a 4 cent loss. I got in at 180, sold at 176, and it was, as we can see, it's below the 100-day moving average. I thought it was going to break. After on this day, ADRs were moving pretty well. So after this day, I got in, and I thought it was going to break and actually continue to go. It didn't. It hit that 185 mark, 180, 188, 187. It hit the mark and it came right back down. So I thought it was gonna go. I thought it was gonna hold this 170 area, which it did. I held it for like one more day, and it didn't do anything. It didn't do what I hoped that it would do. I didn't want to just, hope and hold, so I didn't. On let's make sure I have the day that that I sell it on. Yeah, I sold it on the 12th, so I did sell it on this day. I sold it on this day, and it didn't do, like I said, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. I ended up selling it for a 4 cent loss. So it's okay. I bought it on the first green day. I thought it was going to go higher. It didn't. I took a small loss. That's fine. TNDM. Now this one has been funny to me because I definitely remember it when it was down here. Definitely remember when it was in the twos. So just for it to creep up on me and go higher, it just caught me by surprise. I didn't know that it was. I had no idea. It's a diabetes drug it's a diabetes company that's developing a diabetes drug, and it has been outperforming the market. So because it's been doing so, this is what it's been doing. It's been this uptrending slowly and gradually. So right now it is holding this 680 area. Um, I'm happy that that's where it is. I am watching it. Actually, I thought I had it on here, so I must have taken it off. So I'm gonna put it back, TNDM, just to see what it does during the week. It could come right up to the 750s. It could hold the 680. I want to see what it does. I definitely want to see its price action. I'm not saying that I'm buying it because it's not one of my top buys, but it is something that I definitely want to take a look at in the market. But I did buy it on the 11th at 747. This is where I was starting to see that my intraday buying and selling, my intraday buying is not as good. See, the markets were down on this day. Facebook did have the Senate hearing, and the House hearing was today. Was on this day. So the Senate hearing was on the 10th, and then the House hearing was on the 11th when I bought TNDM. I sold the MYSZ because the bid and the ask was below the closing price from the previous day, which was the 10th, and it was trading lower. So I ended up selling that one, and intraday I ended up buying TNDM, thinking that technically it looks like it can do well and all that stuff, but it reported that it was up on sales from Q1, so I thought that was good. It found some support at 750, which it did intraday, but I did bought it at 747, and it did continue downward at 737 before uptrending back. Currently overbought on the year chart, which makes me to hold longer. So I did definitely sell it, and I'm glad I did because it's at 1170 right now. And like I said, I was in on this day, and I sold it on that day. So it would have kept on going down lower. But it did come back up, so which is fine. And I said that it could not hold 735, and it broke down at and below 730, and it was trading below the 100-day moving average. So on the day, so I use the 100-day moving average on the day and for the year as bullish or bearish indicators to allow me to realize if it could continue going bullish or if it will go bearish. So, that is just one indicator that I use. And of course, I use the MACD and the RSI as other supportive indicators. Right now it is overbought. So that's probably why I took it off my watch list. But it's overbought now. And because it's overbought now, more than likely I would not be buying it. I would want to see it come back down before doing anything. So we'll see. It might come back down to support in the fives. It might hold the 760 area and trade sideways for a while. But this is way overbought, and I don't want to be caught out there in the rain, holding on to this stock. So this is where I identified that, hey, intraday buying is probably not for me, and I should probably stay away from it. So I've been doing more overnight holds than anything, and if it does hold overnight, on the next trading day, and it's trading in a positive direction, I continue to hold it, which I'll show you with CANN wheat stock. That I think tomorrow it might go down because, no, actually it's not overbought yet, so it's starting to get there, but I'm ahead of myself. So let's go to my next trade that I did for the month was VSTM. This was Veristream. And like right now I'm not going to go into like what it does, but essentially this is another stock that's overbought, but as we could tell, it's right here. It's right at the 100-day moving average. It closed above the 100-day moving average. So this red candlestick, even though this red candlestick is red, it did close over the 100-day moving average, which gives it a chance for it to move bullish. I'm not saying that this is 100% guaranteed, even though it did gap up, but at the same time, because this happened, this would happen. That you might have shares that would trade above it, and that it did. It gave a first green day, even though we can technically call this a green day, but it's red as we see. So this is the first green day, and it continued the uptrend. And I ended up buying this at 377 as an overnight hold on the 11th, which is here. So I bought like right around here, pretty much higher than where I should have bought it at. And I sold it at 410. So right now is this still kind of trading at, it's still at 414. Didn't really go any higher. I think 420 was the highest that it went to. But as we can see now that we're seeing some clear indication of how the 100-day moving average works, especially on stocks that gap up, as I will show on BLCM, that even when it has a gap up and it closes above the 100-day moving average on a red candlestick, that the next day could be a green day and cause more uptrending. So that happened here, and this was definitely on a day that the stocks were, or the overall market was downtrending. So I like the fact of what it was doing on this day to this day, and then we see what happened on this day. But it is overbought, so this is something I would not be buying again. But as always, I'll be watching. I like to watch it just to see the price action, just to see what it did, just to see how it moves, so I can get an idea of how the price action of these stocks, especially when they have some type of positive news or any type of news that moves the stock in a bullish direction. So that's because it's not really just the stock itself, it's the It's the news that comes with it and the reaction to that news that I like seeing. It's that reaction. So more of anything, I'm buying the reaction, not just the stock. So so that's what it is with that one. Um, so yep. So VSTM bought at 377, held it overnight, sold at 410, didn't sell it at 420, but I was able to profit, and that's what I want to do. I want to be able to take profits. Um, so on the 12th, which you know, I did buy one. I did buy one stock, and it was a day trade, and I ended up selling it. Was EYPT. So before I really get into this EYPT, before I get into this trade, um, because I was seeing this, and I'm glad that it closed over the 100-day moving average, so I was able to see that, hey, it could do one of, well, I didn't know how much or how high it was going to go, but I knew it could have a green day. I definitely did get in later than I wanted to, and I ended up having to sell for a 5 cent loss. I bought in at 138 on the day. Well, I did say I wanted to go over one stock, but yeah, I ended up losing 5 cents a share on this and buying it at 138 and selling it at 133. Um, and mainly because, let's see, yesterday I thought about buying this company around 128 for an overnight hold, but bought VSTM instead. Today, EYPT came out with news about allowing treatment on patient's eyes. More of my handwriting is horrible, so excuse me. More overhead resistance is necessary, but it's trading above 100-day moving average, which made it more appealing. Currently at 134, which makes me nervous since I didn't buy at support at 133. There's a wall at 135 and it's forming. Looking to cut loss if it goes to 133, which I did. Not doing what I want. I sold it at 11 a.m. EYPT then uptrended to 148 and then closed at 146 on the day. So later on that day, it actually uptrended to 148. So I even though I thought it was going to do what I thought it was going to do, I didn't buy at that support. And this is where I know, matching up intraday support with long-term support is important, because when you're lining them up, it gives you an idea of where to actually buy, and if it's actually holding. If it's not holding support, then why buy it? And if it is holding support and it looks like that, that it could possibly uptrend, given with the indicators on the R with the MACD and the RSI, why not take that risk into buying it before it uptrends, because it's holding the support. So I thought it was going to do what I wanted it to do. It didn't. That's fine. I took my 5 cents a share loss. But on that same day before, because I was looking at it at pre-market, talking about VSTM, because this is still April 12th, right? So I said I sold VSTM after it broke resistance at 4, and was currently holding at 408 during that time. Once it started consolidating between 410 and 415, I prepared to sell. Not sure if it would come down any further. So I just took profits and looked for the next trade, which would be BLCM, because of analyst upgrade and what type of news? Drug news. It didn't hit my target at 760. It was closer to 770, but I didn't have settled cash to purchase. So the only reason why I didn't actually end up buying BLCM is because my the cash in my account from a previous trade didn't settle, which the next day you start to see BLCM, you know, even though it uptrended, just like VSTM, and it's closed over the 100-day moving average. Look what it did. Look what it did. Look what it did. VSTM. Look what it did. Look what it did. It closed. So it's funny how these things definitely move in accordance with each other, because I was not anticipating that at all. And not only did it closed above its previous day. It closed higher than its previous day. So it's giving me a sense that, hey, it might go higher. It has the potential of going higher. Um, it's it's starting to turn overbought. I wanted to buy this at 890. This is Friday's trade. I know I'm ahead of myself, but I just wanted to show you the similarities, because even though I was watching it on this day and my cash just didn't settle, so I was watching it on this day and I said, you know what, this is something that, hey, it's coming out with a pre-market news saying that, hey, you should buy it. Well, not buy it, but it was coming out with pre-market news. It gapped up. There was a lot of buying going on. There was a lot of shorts that were closing their positions. So hey, this might have an opportunity to buy. And look at it from one day to the next, from the 12th to the 13th. It's just a thing of beauty. And VSTM did the same thing. So I like the fact that the behavior of these charts are moving in the same direction. Now, if it moves according to what the market is doing, tomorrow, hopefully, that we will have another green day in the market, despite what's going on in Syria. I'm not going to get into all that, but because of geopolitical news, it could affect how the markets react, especially in the healthcare sector. So we'll see. We'll see how that all comes about. But VSCM, BLCM, they both have a similar movement that goes along. So then the next trade that I had was DPW. I bought it. Here. But yeah, I bought it. Where did I buy you actually? I bought you at 119. So I saw it at 115. It was holding this 110 area. I saw it at 115. It made me interested, and then from 115 and after hours into the next trading day, it just continued to go up. And I thought it was going to go up to 160. It definitely got the 150, and I didn't sell at 150. It was trading back and forth at 145 to 147, and once it hit 150, I thought it was going to crack. It didn't crack, and it came down, and I sold it at 138. So as we see right now, it's back at 121. So at least I took my profits, 19 cents a share. I could have had more, woulda, shoulda, coulda, but I'm identifying and I'm taking my profits as I go. I'm taking the profits, not holding and hoping, just taking my profits. Just taking the profits and continue to take my profits, and I just hope to continue to be more profitable. So this brings me up to my last three trades. CANN. I already went over. No, yeah, CANN. I already went over BLCM, but I am now at CANN. It is starting to be overbought, but as we have seen before, this could potentially get up to 5. I could see this getting up to 5. if not four. It's already, it's near 490. We're getting close to 420, which is, every pot smoker's favorite holiday, 420. So, there's an increase in demand for legalized marijuana. There's a lot more marijuana advertisement coming along. There's a lot more research coming along. There's a lot more of everything involving the marijuana industry coming along. So, because of these things, I wanted to look at, what it could possibly do. So right now, I just want to put a resistance line near the $5 area, because I could see that getting there, if not 490, before selling. We'll see what the pre-market does. The pre-market continues to have this going up, but look, the last time it was above the 100-day moving average after cracking, look what it did. Look what it did, and this was back in December. So, it went from the twos up to the 10. So, 5 times the money. That's kind of crazy. So if it does that again, which is at the twos, and it's above the 100-day moving average, it already crossed, and back here, this is when it was crossing and bouncing, went up and came down. It could definitely top out at 5. So I just want to prepare, because I don't want to get caught in this downtrend. So I see this going up, coming down, going back up. I don't want to get, this is the whole Elliott wave. That's why I was looking at it kind of weird. But the whole Elliott wave was saying, this is the 1, and 2, and then 3, 4, and then the 5, where this kind of this comes all the way down. Right now we're barely at 1. So the 1. So I'm just trying to see if it will continue to go up before coming back down. But I just want to take my profits. I want to take my profits before it comes back down and continue moving. So and then there is a webinar coming up on marijuana. I think it's on Thursday. This Thursday. I actually registered off because my mentor Tim Sykes, he had it in his YouTube video. So if you haven't seen that video, you should definitely see that video altogether. And then this is the same day. This is on Friday. I bought this on overnight hold, and I need to put that in my notes. I didn't put it there with overnight hold. Overnight hold. And same thing with BLCM. It was an overnight hold. So I bought CANN on the 12th, and it held. So I'm holding it on Friday, and it's still holding. So Monday, we'll see what it does. But on Friday, I end up buying ECYT, and instead of coming back to look at BLCM, which was out of my ignorance, and now that I see what that candlestick looks like, it gives me more confidence in realizing hey, there are some stocks that you should probably just kind of continue watching, and BLCM was definitely one of them, because I bought ECYT intraday, and I remember specifically putting it up on Twitter saying that if it, I'm waiting for it to come back down, because it was up pre-market, so I was waiting for it to come back down. Actually, let's look at how it looked on the day. I ended up losing 25 cents a share on this one. I'm glad that I sold a little bit earlier, but I definitely could have just broke even. But look where it's at. It actually double top. This is it's not an exact double top, but it's damn near a double top, if not a triple top, right? So right here at 1070, this was like 1060. This was 1060, 1059. And so we can say that, hey, this is definitely, this toppling up over here. And I said, hey, if it can't hold this 1050 area, then I posted up on Twitter, then, essentially it's not a buy. But if it was going to hold, then definitely. And I bought it. I bought it when it was starting to hold because it came down to the tens. And I said, okay, bounced off the tens, came back up. And I said, oh, it looks like it's trying to hold 10. And it came back up. And I ended up buying right around here. Right around right after 10. I think I bought it at 9:52 to be exact. um, no, hold on. No, no, no. Bought this near the 11:30 time. So right around here. No, that's higher than. I'm not sure I bought it at the time. I feel like I bought it a lot sooner than this time, cause I was going to the gym, and I know I didn't buy it around that time. So I think I bought it more around this time. I need to write down the times that I buy it. If I do buy intraday, which more than likely I will stay away from intraday, but I did. I feel like I bought it like around here, this 10-15 area, because I know usually around 11, that's when stocks either have the potential of going back up or going back down. And I definitely was looking at this just because it was a pre-market mover, and I was like, oh, it has the potential. It's holding the 950 area, or not 950, 980 area. And I was like, oh, well, it has some opportunity to go somewhere, to go higher. I was using all these little clues to say that I was going to continue to go. And then once it consolidated here and started to move back, I said, oh, it's moving. So I thought it was going to continue to go, but it didn't. It came here, and I was like, oh, it still has some time. And I definitely didn't sell. And I just, it came down. So once I was sweating at, 980, 980 area, I said, you know what, I got to cut my loss. So my 980 then order didn't fill, but my 975 order filled, and it just continued to come back down, and it actually came down 20 more cents after that. So I'm glad that I sold the time that I did sell, but I lost 25 cents a share, which is not a huge loss, but it definitely could have been reduced a lot more. I could have gotten out a lot sooner, especially when I saw that the nines was a holding, but I didn't just want to buy. I just didn't want to buy and sell just because. But I now know that intraday is not for me. So not buying intraday, didn't get in with it. It's whatever. It's whatever. I've learned intraday, not for me. You have to show me something spectacular for me to get in intraday. Yeah, the earliest I'll probably buy is 3 p.m. It's the earliest from now on. Anything that happens in between that time, I don't care anymore. Intraday, overnight holds. That's what I care about. I don't care about intraday. Overnight holds is what I'm really going for now. And then BLCM. That's I did say I bought ECYT at $10 and sold it at $9.75. Which $10 is also a psychological barrier. So probably holding at those round numbers is buying at those round numbers is not the best thing for me. But I thought it was gonna hold. I thought it was gonna hold when it was around in this area. So that's what I did. But normally, the around the 80s or 75-cent areas, those are usually good areas if I know that's approaching that whole dollar amount, or if it's approaching the $50 amount, the 20s, 15, 20-cent area is usually where I will try to buy at. So just as a point of reference for myself, of where I normally try to buy or execute buying. And then I bought BLCM which as I've already said that hey, I probably should have went back to BLCM instead of ECYT because of the way that the chart looks like. So right now, it's over the 100-day moving average. Of course, this is intraday, but I uh, bought it at 8.98, and I saw it at this $8 area, and I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure just because of how I traded intraday before, but I should know around this 330 area when I'm starting to look at stocks around around 330, particularly for a stock that's trading above the 100-day moving average. This is something that I typically should look for and typically will work for me. So, these are the trades that I have gone through this past month thus far. Uh, I am up over the past 3 months, which I'm happy. I'm much happier about that. My trades are looking a lot better. My trades that I've lost on, the loss is a lot smaller, and I'm coming in with more confidence because I'm identifying, support and resistance levels. I'm matching it up the support and resistance levels with intraday support and resistance and the year support and resistance going through time frame through time frame. And then also using the RSD and the MACD on the intraday, the 1 minute chart to see what is the best price to get in at. Seeing where the RSI is starting to go, and if the MACD is starting to match that when it comes to the ending of sellers and turning to the beginning of buyers, and if the RSI is also saying that it's not overbought, but is finished overselling and people are starting to buy in. So starting to line everything up together. The VWAP, I still use the VWAP because it still lets me know where people are buying on average on that day, and the 100-day moving average over the past 100 days where people are buying on that day. So I still like using the VWAP, but the 100-day moving average is definitely something that I'm starting to gravitate a lot more towards. I'm holding that a little bit more significant over the VWAP. So that has it. Probably went on for like about 45 minutes or so, but this is a good review of some of the most of my trades that I did for the. I hope I recorded. This is the trades that I have done for the day, and yeah, I'm recording. Yeah, I'm at 48 minutes. So that I've done for the month and thus far. And even though these are a lot more trades than I would particularly like, I am identifying when to sell, when to buy, and when to cut my loss. Like I said, that loss at the very beginning of the month with which was like a $2 loss unnecessarily. I see that's how bad it is. I had to block it out my brain because I don't want that type of loss again. NETE, it trades erratically intraday. I don't want to go through that again. So, until the next trade, which is more than likely tomorrow, we'll see. Let's see how it goes. So, if you're watching, thank you for listening. It just allows me to go over what I've been doing, and kind of it helps me grasp this whole stock market thing. And it's been a year and almost 2 years actually that I've been looking at the market, kind of getting comfortable with trying to trade. Actually, I think this month would be 2 years. I opened up my Robinhood account in April, so April 2016. So getting comfortable with that trading and getting comfortable with using the technicals and using sell orders, buy orders, and everything like that. It's been a process, but I definitely am liking it, and I can say that I absolutely love trading. So, you know, this is L. Jermaine Russell. I'm out. It's time to get some studying in.